And we got a great guest in studio now from North Mason Regional Fire Authority, Jeromy Hicks. Morning, sir.
Morning. How are you guys doing?
Good. How about you?
Good
I'm
to
doing
see
well.
you.
Our weatherman.
Yeah. Well, apparently not today.
Not today.
Commissioner Schutte.
He snuck in.
Yeah,
We got it.
Snuck in
6:45,
there.
huh?
One take though, too. He said.
Well, how you been, bud? Good to see
Good.
you again. And
Good, I've been well.
we talk a lot during our leadership program that we are involved in. But additionally, you do a lot of great work with North Mason Regional Fire. And I know that one of the things that we've talked with over the years or so is being prepared for disasters. And here in Mason County, they are saying more than just the 3 days these days. We're up to a week, 2 weeks, because there are some areas that in the event of a major catastrophe could be difficult to get to in a timely amount of time, I guess.
You're absolutely right. We have a great emergency management agency here in Mason County, and we got a lot of great fire districts and fire departments. And I think what people really fail to recognize is that when we have a catastrophe or a major large-scale event here, EMS and fire is not going to be there like they are every single day.
Sure, because they're going to be busy doing other things.
Very busy doing other things. So a week is a great starting point. And driving in this morning, we talked a little bit about this class that Jeff and I are involved in, and all the things of how to get information out. And one of them was, it amazed me, even working with the fire department for 20 years, that until about 3 years ago, I did not have a disaster kit at my house.
Whoa.
And trying to educate people, especially from California,
Right.
That's just something that came with your house in California. You buy a house and there's a disaster kit.
It's all ready for you.
Here we don't do that.
Yep.
And there's, there on our website, there's a whole bunch of different things to consider. One for your house, one for your office, one for your car. And then it talks about making plans for your pets and your children.
Sure.
And I think the misconception is people just go, well, somebody else will do it, or I could just go to my neighbor's house and steal their food,
Or a car will come by with a loudspeaker. You need to make sure you have this. And this.
Yeah.
Like those old announcements.
And it doesn't happen that way. We've teamed up in the North End with McClendon's Hardware. They provide a kit. I think it's $85. It comes in a tub, and it has basically there's a whole bunch of basic stuff that you would need. It doesn't come with food or anything like that, but it has your can openers, your flashlights, your batteries, a tarp, some stuff that could get you by if your house was leveled. And then you could add in that box your water, which they still recommend a gallon of water per person per day, and then your provisions for food. And it's a good starting point. We did it. My family did it. It's very inexpensive. You put it, I'm sure you did the same thing in California, on an exterior wall in your garage somewhere, so if something does happen to your house, you can still get to it if there's an emergency.
Mine was always my camping box.
Yeah.
Because we camped quite a bit, with the kids when they were smaller. And I've got a camping box, got all of that in there.
Yep.
Except for the water and, food. So I'm ready.
And those are things you could cycle through. You can get water out of your hot water tank if it doesn't get breached, and you can get food out of your pantries if the pantry's not breached. But how are you going to cook that food? Because the microwave's not going to work.
Right.
More than likely, your stove's not going to work. So you have to just put your mindset in this. And I hope the listeners are sitting there at their office right now or in their cars going, "Holy smokes, yeah, we need to do that." And there's simple things that we just overlook.
Is it because we don't have the frequency of earthquakes, we get complacent, or we have just so much other things going on in our lives that we don't take the time out for these, or is it both of those?
I think it's a combination of all of that. If you go to, I keep using California as an example, but you go to California, you will not lose your pair of sunglasses because it's something that you need every single day.
Right.
Can't walk outside without them.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening on the way in, and here we're not going to need our sunglasses this afternoon.
No.
So people put them somewhere and they lose them, or they, during the winter, they put them, just forget about them. And the first day it's sunny out, they go, "Oh man, I wish I had my sunglasses." I think we're the same thing with earthquake. We are very fortunate in this area not to have a lot of natural disasters. We have some flooding, and we've had a couple little earthquake scares and stuff like that, but we haven't been to the point where it's on the forefront of everybody's mind. A buddy of mine works for FEMA, and he's obviously very involved in this Cascadia thing, and he calls me and he's like, Jeromy, this stuff's real. You don't think it's real because you don't ever have to deal with the response that I have to do throughout the United States, but these are things that are a reality that most of the people we help are the ones that have not been prepared for these incidents.
And it could be any disaster that
You're
happens.
right.
It could just be, okay, all the electricity went out or whatever.
Yep.
So, and water, I think water lasts 3 or 4 years if you store it properly. So,
and you could get
Just do
purifying
it,
tablets.
yeah.
You could do all sorts of things. And I'd say our two biggest ones here would be the earthquake threat.
Yeah.
Flooding if you live down in the plains there, but power. That's a great example. Fortunately, we have the PUDs here that have a very active preventative maintenance program for their power. And I have, knock on wood, I can't remember the last time I lost power for more than like an hour or so.
Right.
But that's a reality. I mean,
But
people
it's so
lose
rural
power.
out here, and houses are so far apart.
Yep.
So I mean, they may not get to you. Make sure you have I have a Coleman stove, so with the propane.
So you're ready to
I
go.
can cook anything.
And then outside, of course, on all
Outside.
those things.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
please don't use your.
But I do
propane
need to get
stones
my
as a-
water now. I haven't done that yet. So
I was seeing they have all these apps nowadays, and this just popped into my head. You can get notifications when just about anything happens. So if people have or have an interest in earthquakes, you can get notifications anytime an earthquake happens at any type of scale on the Richter scale. That might be a good way to then rethink about having your kit.
Right.
Oh, or every time you see a notification,
Right.
because they don't happen all the time, but every few often we'll get a couple shakes here and there, and be good to go, earthquake, that's right.
Yeah.
Here's my kit.
I mean, a good example of that is just go home and shut your power off for the night and see what happens. Really, that's what it is. And we teach. We're really good about smoke detectors and teaching our kids exit drills, hopefully, and where to meet and the unification. And we do that because history has told us that incidents occur at night with your kids in your house because of unsafe fire
and
conditions.
then you're like, "Where's that flashlight?
Yeah,
Where's I don't have a lighter. Where's the candles or whatever?
You're right.
You're running
so just
around.
kind of running those scenarios through and going, well, this is what I would need. Simple things. It's we did our survey in the North End when we started the disaster preparedness thing. What's the one thing that you think that you wouldn't think about? What's that? And can opener was number one.
Yes.
We started going through, and
Sure.
everybody would bring their kits because we had these classes, and they bring their kits. And go, hey, look at this, Jeromy, look how prepared I am. I go, great, open that can, and
Exactly.
they're trying to do it with a knife or something like that. So it's just simple things like a can opener or a lighter or some candles or things that you wouldn't think of. LED flashlight. They put a battery in an LED flashlight, they will last forever.
That's true.
So,
One of the other things we were talking about earlier was the weather, and it's cold out, and that often leads to stagnant air advisories, things like that. I bring it up with your burns that you do. You got some training burns on the way.
yeah, well, we just completed one down on the North Shore. We've been given a couple of facilities to burn, and we rarely do it because there has to be a really big training value for us to be able to burn down the house, and we have to have the right air conditions and all that stuff to do it. But we were given two structures right next to each other down about the 4,000 block of North Shore Road. So we already did one, and I think we talked briefly last time I was on the air about it. Is a lot of people come. We had 7, 8 different fire departments. We had Kitsap County there. We had the Central Mason there, Mason County Fire District 3, 6. Everybody came down. We had so many firefighters.
Like a
at
field
that.
trip.
Oh, it was. If you were driving down
excited.
North Shore in the afternoon, you probably thought the world was coming to an end. Seeing all the fire trucks that were down there.
funny.
So I bring that up because it's important that we do these. In 20 years, we've probably had 15, 20 of these house burns. So there's not a lot of them that we offer. We're going to be doing again next month, and it's just more kind of an advisory. If you see all the trucks in the area, that's what they're doing.
Don't panic.
Yeah, don't panic. And we put out signs and everything so the local homeowners know. But if you're somebody has a house on the North Shore and your summer property and you happen to be coming into town, you end up passing the 30 fire trucks that are out
Where's
there.
my emergency kit?
Right.
Exactly.
What are we here
Think
for?
disaster preparedness. No.
So talk to me a little about how this works. If you've got, and I'm sure this will be wrong, so stop me at any time.
Okay.
You have the house. Somebody lights it on fire. Do they set it a specific way to coincide with the training, or does it just catch on fire? And then, if there's so many departments that come, isn't it just one department that would put the fire out, or how do you work those training scenarios?
So typically there's multiple rooms in the house, so we'll light, we go in and we actually reinforce the room with extra drywall so we could burn, typically in a practice burns you burn pallets, like all wooden pallets. And you'll start the fire, and then you'll put the fire out, and then the next group will come in, you'll start the fire, you'll put the fire out, and you'll keep going until that room isn't able to be burned again, and you'll keep burning through the house until basically the safety officer says, okay, now this house is structurally unstable, we can't keep doing this, and then you just burn the house to the ground, and then the fire departments are there to make sure nothing else happens there. So there's a very stringent safety protocol that goes with burning these down. There's actually a NFPA standard on how you burn these houses down. So make sure everybody comes out safe.
They go through the process of what they're supposed to do.
Oh yeah, there's a briefing before it.
Oh,
everybody walks through it. You'll see the house. There's spray painted letters on all side of it. There's exiting pass, emergency exiting pass, emergency exiting pass to the emergency exiting pass. So it's just it actually takes such a long time to set one of these up. Again, the only reason we do it is if there's a
big
major benefit to the
I can't imagine there's just houses laying about that says, might as well go take care of that one, go do that one.
You'd be surprised how many people call us and want us to burn down the old barn or the dilapidated structure on their property, and it's like, there's no real value to that. So, but I wanted to cover one more thing. If I don't know how much time I have,
a little bit of time left.
We have another really exciting thing. Speaking of training, is Central Mason Fire and North Mason Fire. A couple of agencies are getting together. Central Mason's taking the lead on getting this what they call the every 32 minutes, and it's a distracted driving, a intoxicated driving mock car wreck brought to North Mason again. We do it every 2 years, and this is the second time we've done this series, and we're working with Susan Bradbury at Target Zero for the state of Washington to bring this there. And it kind of starts with a mock car wreck, kids being taken out of school, that they've every 32 minutes a kid dies from distracted driving or intoxicated driving. So we remove them from the classroom. The coroner comes, Wes Stockwell from the county helps us out, and then they're gone for 24 hours. We keep them overnight. We do this mock car wreck. It culminates with a notification of death to the parents.
Oh my God.
And we actually, law enforcement and Susan go to the house and notify the parents that their son or daughter has perished in an accident because of this. And then the next day we bring all the full school assembly together and we talk about, Bill was gone from school. What was the impact to the school on that? And it's a pretty amazing program. And again, second time we've done it in North Mason. We have representatives from the Shelton School District that are going to come and watch this and bring it on, because there's always that this might be too emotional, this might touch too close to home. And I tell you, the first time we did it at this level, we had no incidents with it. No huge issues with that, but we had the feedback from both the community and the kids in the school was amazing. And if we could save one life just because of this, it'll be worth it. So that's going to be happening May 1st in the North Mason School District. Obviously, everybody involved, we don't just show up at the parents' house. They're all part of
They
this.
know
They
what's going
understand
on.
what's going on. But even it's amazing because we film some of this, and you get on if you YouTube every 32 minutes, you'll see the video that was put together of our last one. It's pretty impactful, and the parents, even knowing that this is a so-called
it's gotta be
drill or
emotional,
training. We had some of the parents come to the school and talk to and go, wow, my son wasn't home last night, and this is what it made me think of. So it's a very impactful event. We're inviting, obviously, you guys to come out and see that day, and we're also trying to work on some live streaming so people, the parents that can't make it, can at least watch this event at their
that's
work.
amazing.
Wow.
That's so good.
Well, keep us updated on that.
Absolutely.
We'll come talk to you the next time. All right. Jeromy Hicks from North Mason Regional Fire Authority. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you guys.
Good to see you.